our panel that's coming up here at noon is called Build Community Resilience. And wow, what a time to have a panel like this. It's so important, right? So there's a quote that says, "Do what you can to show you care about other people, and you will make our world a better place." That's a quote by Rosalind Carter. And so the objective of this upcoming panel is really to talk about building resiliency within your community, and whatever that community may be right now, whether that's for most of us an online community, or even just the system that you've built around yourself. A resilient community is able to resist, absorb, accommodate, and recover from the effects of what's called VUCA, vulnerable, unprecedented, chaotic, abrasive times. Certainly something that we're all experiencing right now. So I'm seeing our panelists join in. Thank you, thank you. All right, okay. So I've got here, our first panelist is David Haubert, and he is the mayor of the city of Dublin. And I'll be introducing him on camera here in just a moment. So during his time as mayor, David balanced the city budget for 8 consecutive years and built up reserves for a rainy day fund, all without cuts to service. He's a public servant dedicated to improving the quality of life for people of all ages, ability, and economic class in Dublin, California, not Ireland. He works collaboratively with civic, business, and faith-based leaders to find creative solutions that make Dublin a better place to live and raise a family. David serves on the Alameda County Transportation Commission and the Livermore-Amador Valley Transportation Authority and the Alameda County Local Area Formation Commission. He's also a member of the Alameda County Mayor's Conference, where he currently serves as president. We are so honored to have you here today, David. Thank you so much. I'm going to continue introducing our panelists. So we also have today joining us Arun Goel. He's the vice mayor of the city of Dublin. Arun was elected to office in 2016. He served on the Planning Commission for 4 years and is a civil engineer with almost 25 years of experience in highway, airport, and intelligent transportation systems. With expertise in project delivery, Arun uses his professional experience as a leader for the city of Dublin and the region. In addition, he is an active entrepreneur with businesses in real estate and travel. Wonderful, Arun, thank you so much for being here. I don't quite see you on our panel yet. If you have joined the call, do please go ahead and give me a raise hand, hit that raise hand button. We're a bit early, so he might still be joining on, no problem here. We also have Ritesh Tandon joining us. Ritesh is a US congressional candidate. He is an active community member working for underserved people and children for the last 22 years. Ritesh is always seeking to make his community better for his family and others, and seeing a lack of representation of our values in Washington, D.C., Ritesh will fight for all of our communities to ensure the residents of the 17th Congressional District have a voice in Washington, D.C. Very exciting to have you on as well, Ritesh. Okay, so I think, let's see here. We are still waiting for just a couple of folks to join on the panel. And today, in fact, I'm going, hi, Ritesh, there you are.
Oh,
all right,
hi.
so we've got Ritesh, we've got Arun, and we have, oh, do we have Arun? We are waiting for Arun still, excuse me. Hi, Ritesh.
Hello.
And let's see here. All right, folks, just want to give everybody a moment to join in. Please, everybody, if you are in the Facebook group, go ahead and say hello to our wonderful panelists. Very exciting to have everybody here today. All right. I'm going to be joining today's conversation to moderate our panel conversation here. Give me just a moment. All right. Well, while we're waiting for Arun to join us, would you guys like to introduce yourself and say anything a little bit about how you know Seema or how you're involved in today's event?
Sure. Let me start here. So I know Seema for last almost 15 years now. I was part of Uttar Pradesh Mandal of America, and Seema Ji, actually, she was working very closely with me to help me raise funds for underprivileged children back in India. Actually, we were working very closely. In fact, we did a lot of great things together, including events, reaching out to the community, talking about how the people are suffering and how we can help them. So a lot of great work we have done, and we have great memories with Seema Ji. So thank you so much for inviting us here.
She's a pretty special gal.
Ashley, my pleasure to be here. I was invited by several friends that we have in common, and I'm always interested in sharing how we build resilient communities, how we make Dublin a great place to live, work, and raise a family, but also hearing great ideas from others that are on the panel today and bringing good ideas to Dublin. And so I'm proud to be here. I'm honored to be here, and I want to say thank you for having me.
Well said. Yes, I used to live up in the Bay Area myself. Not in Dublin, but I lived in Oakland for a while and San Rafael. So it's nice to see some representatives really fighting for the community up there. So we're very, very excited to have you on today, all of you. Thank you so much. What a time to be talking about this topic, eh? Resiliency. Mm-hmm. Even just in today's call. We've experienced every kind of technical hurdle that you could, well, actually, who knows? There might still be some ahead. But we push forward with positivity and perseverance. And I think that that's all part of the community and the tone that you set out, which I really can't wait to talk about. So I just want to check in. I know we are a few minutes early for our, before our panel is set to begin. So I don't want to give too much away just yet. So Seema, or possibly Upendra, if you all have an ETA on Arun, if you could let me know, that'd be fabulous. Ritesh, so you're in San Jose. Whereabouts are you living?
Yeah, I live in San Jose area. Yeah, last 21 years.
San Jose. Okay, wow. Ritesh and David, do you all know each other?
Yeah, we've met before several times. In fact, we were just on a call the other night together.
Oh, fun.
So we both of us are in the November ballot. So this is how actually we know each other and work together. Because our goals, our ambitions, everything matches so well that none of us are politicians, to be frank. Like our focus is how we can help community. That's how we work together.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Today's not about politics or sort of. I hope that's not an offensive thing to say, because I think that maybe there's a negative connotation with that. But I think, if you don't mind, I love sort of what you said there, Ritesh, but really focusing on things from serving the community and from a service-based perspective.
Ashley, I'll tell you, I am not a politician. Okay, I'm a community servant. And so I love the discussion that we're here to talk about serving the community, building resilient communities. And I don't like the P word. So thank you. Thank you for, let's avoid politics at all costs. How's that?
Hey, I'm on board for that. There's Arun. Hello, Arun. Wonderful to see you today.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm so good. It's been a wonderful start to the morning. I don't know if you all were able to catch any of Dr. Chopra's presentation, but we're all filled with positive vibes and some great ways to go out there and work on ourselves so that we can better serve our communities. Because I think it all starts with being this whole happy person first. That's my perspective anyhow.
Hey, Arun, long time no see. It's been only 12 hours.
Right?
Yeah.
Serving the community.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, and at my own, embarrassment, I guess, I didn't know there was such thing as a vice mayor. I did not know that.
It's okay, Ashley. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't even know who their mayor is. It's okay.
It's important, though, to know these things, right? I mean, I think let's go ahead and start our panel discussion today. So for those of you that are joining us either live, we are going to be talking about building community resilience. And if you're watching the replay, again, here's our topic all about building community resilience. So can we actually start there with what it is that your function within your community, how does that impact change in your community? How do you serve as from a mayoral perspective, and then also from a vice mayoral perspective? So David and Arun, maybe you can address what exactly your role entails.
Sure, Ashley, I will tell you that clearly the city council works as a team. And so we're all 5 members of a team that are all very equal the mayor has a few extra responsibilities and tasks to perform, but we all get one vote and it's all equally weighted. So we're all five on a team. We govern as a team. So that means majority rules. If three people agree on something, then they have the ability to set forth that policy. For the most part, we delegate all daily operational activities to the city manager who we hire. We provide direction and they provide the day-to-day operations. And it works out very, very well when you work well as a team together. And so we always try to find, I always try to find the areas that we agree upon. And if we agree upon something, then we lock arms and move forward with it. With regard to the community, that are things like, of course, building good parks, building safe roads, hiring police and fire that keep us safe. But it also has to do with things like we proclaimed in the city of Dublin that we stand united against hatred, for example. We are a very welcoming, open community. We do not allow discrimination or hatred or hate crimes or bullying of any kind. We set the culture in our community that that's not acceptable. We will enforce the laws of the land that allow for freedom of speech and freedom of expression and freedom to be who you are. And that's what our country's founded on. And so we stand united against hatred. We also support our schools and help our schools work on character education. We have something called Dublin Integrity in Action, and the city's a big part of that. So we help to make sure that the community, students in the community are hearing the right message around having good character. So we also have the Youth Advisory Council. I'll let Arun speak more about that because his children are on it. Years ago, my daughter was on it for a little while. So the Youth Advisory Commission is a great way to jump in, and I'll let him talk more about that. But all throughout the city, it's incumbent upon the city council and the mayor to set the direction, to set the tone, to set the culture, and then to enforce that. If we have any issues or problems, we'll step in and we'll have a town hall meeting, for example, tonight on police policies and practices. And we're going to listen to people that maybe didn't have a great experience with our police department, and we're going to hear what they have to say. And then we'll have a conversation with our police chief and look at our policy. So when we have a community dialogue that needs to happen, we'll call the community together and have that kind of a town hall discussion. So that's really, again, I say elected of the people, by the people, to serve for the people. And that's what it's about, being in local politics. And we say, and I hate the word politics, but all politics is local politics here. Ashley, we're serving the people. So in a nutshell, I'll let Arun speak about the rest, and I hope he talks about the Youth Advisory Commission and whatever he can add a lot to that conversation. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you so much. What an in-depth answer. And you left us a lot of little nuggets that I'm going to circle back to. I particularly want to talk about some of those town hall meetings and how people can really become active in their communities, because I don't think that a ton of people really know how to be involved. And I'd love to break down some of those walls and help people see how not only important it is, but I think it's a little bit easier to be engaged than people really know. So we'll circle back around to that. But Arun, I'd love to hand the floor over to you for a moment. I want to hear about this Youth Advisory Board. So is this actually children speaking on behalf of their community?
Yeah, so first, I think engagement is part of the key for resilience, right? Is really getting down into the woodworks, into the millworks. Like the mayor has indicated, we do so much, but the engagement element of our role is essential. It's paramount, because many community people, they either don't know how to engage, they want to learn how to engage, and when they do, they may not know how to voice their opinions correctly, or how to make sure that they're really making an impactful, positive change, or leading in a way that is one that they can feel proud about. So I know the mayor and I and the rest of the council, that's what we do focus on. We really pride our engagement levels. And so, you know, the Youth Advisory Committee is one of those engagements. It's one of many of our commissions, but it actually allows youth to come on board, understand the civil process, understand the decision making. They actually are a decision making body. They make recommendations to the council. And so what we formed the Youth Advisory Committee for was to become a voice for youth, to really make sure that youth understood how to engage, how to express themselves, how to become a vocal participant. You know, I know the mayor kind of alluded to a meeting that's happening this evening relative to police engagement, and that's become a national topic. But what we didn't talk about was our youth, how they actually led a very unique and peaceful protest, one of the first few in the Bay Area. And they had graduated from Dublin High. And so for us, that's kind of something that I think, you know, the mayor is very, very proud about, to see engagement from our youth, to watch them foster and grow, to help them understand that civil process, to make sure that they can be proud. I mean, it's to the point where they're helping us elaborate and modify our mission statement to become all inclusive, to make sure we're embracing the necessary elements of diversity. And so, you know, I think, you know, back to the Youth Advisory Committee, it allows them that foundation. They're actually issuing grant awards. They're engaging at the high school, forming nonprofit organizations, and they're getting that money to deliver on projects that really build a strong, united city, focused on maybe some elements that can be better. And so they've identified ways to making our city better.
And what's so, I love hearing every piece of this, particularly it shows children that their voice does matter, and that it does have an impact, and that they're not just voiceless, you know, people who aren't represented. And I think starting that really young is obviously key and critical. Something certainly that I didn't have growing up. Many of us didn't, right? This is not something that you grew up with. And I think what also really is important to note here is that these children have to get to these meetings by way of their parents. So by educating the parents and helping their parents see how they themselves can be involved, and they can bring their children into this event too, it's just another branch of that community that grows out. And I think it's so clear now, given our current state of affairs globally, but particularly here in the United States with some civil issues. These are our leaders, and we actually have to listen and learn from our children, it seems like. And it sounds like they have some really wonderful things to say and contribute to the community. I'd love to hear more about the protest, or the peaceful protest that your children put on. But Ritesh, let's hear a little bit about from you. And you're over down a little bit further south. And so tell us about community engagement, what that looks like in San Jose, in your area.
Sure. So first, let me talk about last 20 years. Part of the community service, what we have done, actually I'm going to briefly talk about it, and then how the community locally is engaging with us, not only right here in the San Jose, but entire United States. So last 20 years, actually, we built 11 eye hospitals, which is performing 150,000 free eye surgeries to underserved people and community. This is one of the biggest nonprofit organizations. Second thing is, as part of UPMA, we have built daycare centers serving underserved children, and those children actually, where the parents, they are bonded labor, they used to leave their elder one to look after the smaller one. And what we did is we have put the younger one in daycare so that they can go to the school, so the life of the children is improved. And the third one is right here in the Bay Area, I see so many Spanish communities, they suffer. Actually, their parents, their parents are day worker, I can say, blue collar jobs and everything. So their children, they were not going in the right direction. What we do is we work one-to-one with the children and help them to go in the direction and show them the picture at what they can achieve with a little bit work. The fourth thing is, in my campaign myself, actually, a lot of young kids, they are involved, and they are so energetic and they're so much passionate, and coming up with the new ideas and things is really amazing to see. So what we do in all those three nonprofit and this thing, we empower the people, come up with a new idea, give more thoughts, and also give them the leadership. For example, David, what he has described, in my board meeting, every board member has equivalent vote. Even though I was president, my vote is ruled out sometime. The team, they decide, okay, this is what they have to do, they have to do. So in fact, everyone is equal, everyone is empowered, everyone is compassionate, everyone wants to work for the benefit of the community and people. And this is how actually I see entire America coming together and helping underserved and underserved community children and showing them the path in the right direction.
I love that. Well, it sounds like it might be a great time to actually talk about some of the ways you all are talking about within your own, and you have to forgive me, I don't know all of the correct terms here. We're all learning. But is the word like your jurisdiction? What's the word that refers to your constituents, the people that you're representing? What's that word?
Your jurisdiction or your district boundary, sure.
Jurisdiction. Okay. So this might be obviously a separate answer for Ritesh and for our Dublin representatives, but can we talk a little bit about how everyday people, you're obviously within a jurisdiction, you're representing a vast spectrum of people, whether that's race, religion, creed, whatever demographic, it's vast. And yet we all need to come together as one voice. So within your specific jurisdictions, we've talked a little bit about town hall meetings. What is very basically the best way for people to have their voice represented within, starting at the most local level? How do they get involved?
Well, Ashley, let me tell you that, of course, as mentioned it, we're elected of the people, by the people, for the people. And so that means that truly anybody that is a US citizen that is above the age of 18 is eligible to run for office. That's a very unique thing here in America. In other countries, that's just not the same. Some mayors in other countries are appointed by a central government. They may not have ever lived in that city, but now they're that city's mayor. And so it truly means that you need to get involved. And I think that starts with the relationship. Here in America, I think just about every mayor that I've met, if you want a relationship with the mayor, you call them up, you send them an email, you schedule an appointment and meet with them. And it's very rare that they'll say, I can't meet with you ever. You may meet with their chief of staff if it's a large city, but small cities like Dublin, if people want to meet with me, they schedule an appointment, I meet with them.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
People don't know how to do this. Where's the number for the phone number for the mayor listed?
Yeah. You know what? That's where social media comes in. People will call me, I'll call them back and they'll say, I can't believe, it happened just the other day, I can't believe the mayor actually called me back. Thank you. It is absolutely, it blows me away. People don't know this. You can call your mayor. They will call you back. Again, maybe chief of staff, but we care more, very much about our constituents, so we have a jurisdiction. In the jurisdiction, we have constituents. A little bit of the terminology here, Ashley.
Thank you. We're all learning. Everybody take your notes.
That's right. Some constituents are voters, okay? Not everybody, but voters are people that vote for you. But we care about all of our constituents. If you live in our jurisdiction, then we care about you. And we're willing to talk and schedule time and meet with you to the best extent of our ability. To get involved, though, it often is the case that you'll come to a city council meeting or a school board meeting. Again, the other local agencies, a sanitation district or a water district, you'll often go to a meeting. Often they're televised or on streaming on the web, so you can see them, watch them, get to know them, and then meet with them. Eventually, people will become maybe a volunteer on your campaign or on your staff, or learn how to do things. Some people, elected office is just not their thing. They would never put themselves out there on the public market, on the ballot, and ask people to vote for them and all of what's involved with doing that. They would rather just be behind the scenes and support and advocate for And so there's all kinds of positions to play on the team and all kinds of ways to be part of the engaged process. The main thing to say is an engaged citizenry is a good thing for democracy, a good thing for the community. So everybody has a role to play, but then everybody's life is so busy. Sometimes people just leave me alone, I don't want to be a part of anything. And that's okay too. That's why we have the system in place that we do have to help take care of that. But there's an opportunity for everybody to jump in the conversation.
I think I'm speaking probably a little bit from my personal experience here, but it does seem quite intimidating to think that you could just show up, call the mayor, show up to a town hall meeting. I don't think that it really feels accessible to a lot of people. I have never been to a town hall meeting. I don't even know what happens at these town hall meetings. And it's something actually that I'm really interested in changing. I want to be more active in my community. So for people who've never attended a town hall meeting, or now they know they can call you and tell you what's going on, but what can they expect from some of these town hall meetings? Are we voting on things? Are we just talking about what's going on in the community and it's a chance for you to hear, issues? What happens at these town hall meetings? And anybody else, Ritesh or Arun, please feel free to take a stab at this as well.
Well, I'll just jump in and let others join. I'll just say very quickly, a town hall meeting is a great chance to listen and then to ask questions and be part of the conversation. That's, I think I'll let others share, but that's would be my quick answer on that one.
And literally anybody from the community, if you are represented in that jurisdiction, you can go to one of these town hall meetings. Where do people find out about the meetings? How do they know where they're supposed to go or what Zoom information they're supposed to log into? Where do they get this information?
Yeah,
that's all good, initial information, right? So one of the key ways nowadays that cities are distributing information is through their website. And they'll post an agenda generally about 72 hours prior to the minimum requirement. And inside of there, the agenda will list all of the key topics that are going to be discussed and decided upon for that particular meeting. There is a segment in our case at the city that starts off with public comment. So that generally is items that are not on the agenda. And then if you wanted to address a specific topic of interest that you may have, you would actually reference the agenda item and your name and city location for that matter as to what item you would like to talk about and address. And I want to go back to one of your things is how did we get to where we were and why? And that starts the community engagement process of that one-on-one element that, the mayor is identifying, myself and the rest of the council, we embrace. So how did we get there? It generally starts with an individual like myself, that's starting off with a passion on a simple topic that impacts our daily lives. And from there, those decisions and the actions that are made by our leaders that we elected to represent ourselves becomes a passion of dialogue on how to make a positive impact for our society. And from there, that will generally lead into that engagement process because it's almost like watching a TV series, right? On one, and it becomes so exciting that if you are that type of individual, you start to embrace, educate yourself, and engage. And each one of the staff memos really start to explain why are the decisions being made, what is the foundation of the decision, and what is the desired outcome, or what is the debate about. And so at council, we generally won't always be on the same page, and we will deliberate it. We will discuss it. We will take feedback, and then we will do our fiduciary responsibility is land with a decision. Some may like it, some may not. That's public process. But I think that's how, as an individual wanting to get engaged in the process, you do that. I know for myself, and I can speak maybe for the mayor on this one, we engage even at the youth level because the youth level are actually starting to send us memos about the impacts that decisions we might be about to make. So on a recent project, they wanted to talk about how our project was going to impact an animal that really touched home for them. And so that's part of that process. And sometimes you have to extend your arm out and help them understand, what do we do to make sure that that animal is not negatively impacted? And that's the discussions that we generally try to lead with.
Wow, yeah. I love the idea of listening to children and honestly hearing their feedback, because everything we do does affect our community, even at its littlest, youngest members.
Hey, Ashley, I want to go deeper on that. So you got to explain a little bit more. We got a letter from a 13-year-old about burrowing owls, and then a photo of the burrowing owl that she was talking about, that she took a photo of perched on a stump somewhere. And she basically said, I'm a 13-year-old. I love these burrowing owls. Here's a photo of one. Isn't it beautiful? I'm worried about this. And so it really was an amazing story. And it just happened the other day. And it was really kind of cool to get that feedback from a 13-year-old. Yeah.
What were the burrowing owls at risk of?
Well, the land that they're on is a piece of land that's in the middle of the city that is zoned for development. It's likely to be developed. They'll have to find another burrowed hole, or really the environmental rules of today are very good about protecting animals like this. The developer, if they develop the land that they own and it's developable, they will have to find another piece of land, maybe a few acres of land, and they will have to very carefully transport every single, in this case, burrowing owl, to another habitat. And so because burrowing owls are endangered species, and of course, we don't do this for every squirrel or chipmunk or whatever, but every animal is classified. Burrowing owl is a beautiful animal, very special, and will be treated very well in moving. And so, very complicated. We can talk all day about some of these things, but the short answer is the burrowing owl will be very well cared for. However, it is the case, we'll have to break it to this girl that it might not be in the same place that she walks by on her daily routine, because that land doesn't belong to the burrowing owl, it belongs to somebody else, and it is slated and zoned for development. And so the landowner has rights too, but we protect the burrowing owl. Eagle, another great one. We have cameras on eagles that we don't disturb their nest. And if they're nesting, if they have eggs, we have cameras that are watching the golden eagle, because they're precious, they're very important, and they're endangered. So we have rules to protect them.
Well, I'm just getting a couple of messages here. Thank you so much for explaining that to us. So we're going to bring it to a close here, but I really, really want to take just this last moment to let everybody kind of wrap it up here with what you actually mentioned there, David, was something that's quite important. Though we're using the example of the owl here, it's this issue of when a community comes together and presents you with a problem, how do you sort of how do you delegate, whether this is a problem that we all can agree on, and how do you fix sort of issues that there might be multiple perspectives? How do you, and I can't think of the word for the life of me, I need stronger coffee, but sort of decipher which issues you decide to move forward with, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I always try to listen with a mindset of understanding. I don't listen to somebody with a mindset of hearing what they say to refute back. I listen from the mindset of understanding, because if I understand what they're trying to say, as opposed to understand how I can best refute them, then I find that most times I can say to myself, maybe there's some compromise here. Maybe we can get to the things that we agree upon and find solutions to move us forward. And so it starts with listening, but clearly then the more voices that you're listening to, if you hear it once or twice, that's one thing. If you hear it from thousands of people, like we did the other day at the peaceful protest in Dublin, over 600 people came out in a peaceful way. And when you hear the message that loudly, you know that you have to sit down and engage and talk. And then I always like to say, moving forward means change, and things will change for the better, and that's progress. And I go back to the saying, as we talk about our citizens as our people and as groups of people, I love the saying. It says, never doubt what the power of a small group of dedicated people to change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. Some things need groups of dedicated people, well coordinated and well articulated, to change the world. And that's what I think we're seeing around the country today in many cases of the youth that are concerned about directing the resources that we put into public safety and our police, and how can we direct them to what they feel are better ways to spend those funds. And I can tell you that that gets twisted into are you going to defund the police or abolish the police department? And that's clearly not the answer. The police department, by the way, are there for very important reasons. But how do we shift the mindset of how we I don't even like the word policing sometimes. It's how do you keep us safe? And that means mental health needs. It means youth opportunities for our youth. So having more school resource officers, for example, maybe a shift, not a defunding, but rather a reshifting. And that's the conversation that we're going to have.
Yeah, Ritesh, I want to ask you a quick question, which is, learning all these lessons from, in light of recent events and the political state of things right now, how are you taking what you have learned from your community, your constituents, and putting that into action moving forward? I know you have a campaign coming up. What have you learned, and how are you taking that into your upcoming campaign?
I can tell you, like Ash, what David had described, I would echo that part. A lot of people, they are so much compassionate, so much new ideas, new thoughts and everything, listening from everyone, taking input and then filtering out. And I have seen that some small group of people, they fight for their idea, even though their votes are very low, and they push their idea very hard to make it happen. So in fact, what I have learned from my all this community service and what I'm applying at my campaign as well, like empower the people. Don't underestimate anyone, because every human being who is giving you even 5 minutes of your time, taking it away from their family, they are working for you, coming up with the ideas, coming with the thoughts. They want to drive the things, want to be next gen leader, because this is where actually my youth team, I'm preparing myself, I'm working with them one-to-one, ensuring that tomorrow they will be, one day will be congressman or running for president one day or any other things. So all those leadership, all those ideas, thoughts, getting things done. This is where actually I see a lot more what I have learned from my constituency and what I have seen, which is not happening today. Getting things done is the main part. People, they talk a lot, actually. They divert you, they point you. And this is where I ask always my campaign team. You can say 10 different things, but only 2 things which can be executed 100% and which can bring the change in the life of the people, and let the people see the difference, and they should enjoy this life instead of going around 10 different areas and where we see no impact in the society.
I love that. Action. Putting your thoughts and words into action. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, that's, I think, all the time that we have allotted here for this panel today. So I want to quickly just open up the floor for the folks that are joining us live on Facebook. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask our fabulous panel here today, I think you've got maybe just a couple more minutes to throw in any of those questions before I bring on our fabulous Seema Giri back to the stage today. She has a couple things to say here for us. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I've learned so much. I'm inspired. I want to go to a town hall meeting. I can't wait to get involved. And
Ashley, it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you. You did a wonderful job. I really am pleased. Our town hall meeting is tonight, and it's on Zoom. You can check us out. Go to the Dublin website. It's on policing, community policing with our police chief. But anyway, really glad to be here with my esteemed colleagues, Vice Mayor Goel and Ritesh Tandon, candidate for Congress. An honor to be on the panel with you. Thank you, Ashley.
Same here, David. Here, thank you so much, Ash. It's fantastic. You did a great job, and great honor with you, David and Arun. Once again, anyone who wants to join my youth team, please go to my website, www.tandonforcongress.com, and join my youth team. So much great innovative ideas.
And same here. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Ritesh. It's been a pleasure. I think the looking to the future, community engagement, and for the community to really understand involvement leads our future in a better direction. Thank you.
Well said. It's almost like you guys have experience with these Zoom calls and with speaking to in public forums. I hope you guys got some Zoom muscles flexed today for, I'm sure, a full day of even more Zoom meetings. But thank you for taking the time. It certainly means a lot to us, and it shows how much you care about the communities that you serve, and this, in fact, being one of them. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm gonna kick you out so that we can move on to the next panel of the day. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and thank you again for being here and for your time.
Thank you.